Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Old Time Rock and Roll. I'm your host, David Tear, where I've been featuring my personal top 3,000 songs of the rock era from 1954 to 1999. Today I'm up to song number 2913, which is Love Takes Time by Orleans. For those of you who don't know, Orleans was kind of a soft pop rock band from the mid to late 70s. Actually, they're still around. They got started in yeah, here's a picture of the band. They got started, and then that also shows the members. They got started in 1972 in Woodstock, New York. I don't think there's any relationship between that and the Woodstock Music Festival. I'm sure you guys all know about 1969. This was, I think, the biggest rock concert ever in the United States and the second largest in the world. And I was only 7 years old at the time. I didn't even know about it till about 10 years later. But I wish I could have been there, and maybe I wish I could have been born about 10 years earlier, so I could have enjoyed it like everybody else who was there. But that's another story. Anyway, let's get back to "Love Takes Time" by Orleans. I did. Well, I want to get back to the band actually. I think I mentioned they had three hits. Maybe I didn't, but they had three big hits. Two top tens, one that just barely missed the top ten. "Love Takes Time" just barely did. But their first big hit was called Dance With Me. That came out in 1975. That went to number six on Billboard. The next year they had Still the One. That was their biggest hit. That went to number five. And that was so popular that it was used by the American Broadcasting Company, ABC. It was their theme song for a couple of years, I think from 1977 to 1978. And this is what their icon looked like their logo looked like at that time. It looks pretty much the same now. It just doesn't have the colored letters. But anyway, I remember when they used it. But I don't know how interesting that is for you guys. But anyway, yeah, Orleans, they only had three big hits. They're still playing, but I don't think they're still hitting. But I do kind of like Love Takes Time. Maybe I should say a little bit about this song. I don't know. It's not a great song. I mean, it did make my list, but I agree with the title. I think love does take time most of the time. I think you kind of have to know someone before you really fall in love with them, or at least that's been my experience. I don't really believe in love at first sight. I mean, I think that's mostly an illusion. When you think you've fallen in love, when you think it's love at first sight, I think it's just like it's what Dr. Scott Peck calls a collapsing the boundaries in his book, The Road Less Traveled. It seems like you've met the right person you just want to spend the rest of your life with. And I've actually had that. I mean, my first girlfriend I met in Michigan, when I first met her, I met her at a Valentine's Day dance. To me, that was the closest thing I ever experienced to love at first sight. But it was not true love. I mean, we went together for about 6 months, and she never considered that she was in love with me. Maybe I did for a while, but I was very naive at that time. And I just, I agree that love takes time, and you have to get to know someone. And it's not usually a good idea to marry someone you just met. You should at least get to know them for a few years. That's just what I think. And I think that's kind of what New Orleans is singing about in this song. So, anyway, that's my profile on Love Takes Time by Orleans. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you next time.